All right, what up everyone? You've made it through the setup of the air particulates lab. You have gone through, you've taken your data, you've written things down. Maybe you've taken some pictures because I'd love to see some pictures. But basically you're done with this and you're ready to get this cleaned up. So we do need to reuse these. One, for future classes, but also for another lab that we're doing to wrap up the end of the year. So first thing you need to do is just take off all of the tape. This is why it's nice to use blue tape because it's a little bit easier to be able to peel off there. And you can do this for all of your Petri dishes. You don't need the tape anymore. Be careful when you're doing this. These are pretty easily breakable. So if you squeeze it too tight or something like that, you might cause some cracks in the Petri dish. So once we've got our tape pulled off, we're gonna need something like a napkin. You can use the one in the lab kit or you can use one at home. And then we're also probably gonna need some soap as well. So let's go ahead and start by taking off as much of the Vaseline as possible. And we're gonna do that just with our napkin. So I'm gonna take my napkin here. I'm gonna take off the cover, don't need the cover. And on the side with the Vaseline, I'm just gonna try to wipe off as much as I can. This helps just get most of the Vaseline off. It helps with the washing process. So maybe I'll use another side of the paper towel there, and I'm just gonna wipe as much of the Vaseline as possible as I can. I'll also wipe the sides off. Great, so even though it looks pretty clean, we've still got a lot of the Vaseline oils on there. So the next thing that I would suggest you do is you take some soap, any kind of dish soap will work, and just go ahead and add a tiny bit of soap there to your Petri dish. And then again, with your paper towel, a different clean area, just go ahead and rub the dish soap into the Petri dish. And this is gonna help, again, break down the Vaseline on there. I'm gonna try to get it on all the areas, the sides as well. For good measure, if you feel like your covers also got dirty, feel free to add in some soap to that as well. Great, so now that I've added a little bit of soap, what I can do is I can take it to my sink and use some hot water to be able to wash it. And then you can also dry it afterward. So using hot water or warm water would be the best because then it helps break down the oils in the Vaseline. You wanna make sure you rub it in and then go ahead, wash it completely clean. Once you're done with that, make sure you dry it. Get rid of any kind of little stains and stuff that you might find or little water bubbles or things like that, because that might make it more difficult for the next class and also your next lab to be able to see the results clearly, right? We want to try to get these as clean and as pristine as possible so that we can reuse them. Great, so once you are done with that, and obviously this is not done yet because it's not washed and dried, but once you finish that, just go ahead and maybe set them out, make sure they're totally clean and dry. Once they're done, you can just cap them back together and just stack them, put them back in your lab kit for now because we are going to be using them for our LD50 mung bean lab, probably the week that we get back from winter break. So that's that. Make sure they're nice and clean. Any tape and stuff that you use, you can toss that, but please keep the Petri dishes. Keep any materials that you use, like the magnifying glass and whatnot, and make sure they are clean and ready to go for the next time. Thanks, y'all.